for once. Okay, we are live.
Sweet.
What's up?
What is up, folks? Happy to see you. Happy to do the podcast.
Yeah,
And
episode 10.
episode 10. Crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
I say that every time, but it is trippy to me that we're
in double digits now.
just double digits. There you go.
Yeah.
We're just plugging away. I appreciate that too, because I feel like we're actually providing value and content in a lot of these podcasts, given we might have a couple here and there where we're tired. You know what I mean? Or lethargic. And
Yeah, that's me today. Let me double check to make sure this audio is playing this time, actually. Yeah, it's on.
okay,
We're good. All right,
good deal. I'm sure that anybody watching will let us know as well if let us know if you've got audio problems or whatnot.
Yeah, I just didn't want to go like 5-10 minutes with no audio playing.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think some of those episodes, especially the later ones, we're getting some quality content. We're talking about some good topics, some deep, heavy conversations we're getting into.
Yeah, I really liked the episode with Will.
That was really good. Yeah, in case you guys missed that, last Saturday, Will Middleton was in the house, and we had some really good conversations with him, and kind of got 3 different perspectives, 3 different angles from a lot of topics, and I really appreciated that. It was a good time. So, but yeah, as far as where you guys can find us and subscribe to us, you want to give them that shout out, or you want me to do that?
I can do it. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts now. We've been on there for a few episodes. Post our updates on Facebook and Twitter, and then we stream live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
There we go. Very nice. Very nice. And so, yeah, if you want to just hear the audio on Spotify or Apple, like Danny was saying, give that a listen. It's definitely a different listen.
I personally like it more. So.
I kind of do too, because it leaves you with your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're kind of developing this stage setting and all this. So if you want to listen to that and pretend that we're like in a $20,000 studio setup, please do that. And yeah, just let your imagination run wild. You know, imagine us up on a podium. We all got individual mics, pop filters, and all the high tech.
Yeah,
stuff.
I just don't like watching myself on camera, so maybe it's just me.
There's probably a lot of people that feel that way too. You know what I mean?
And actors are like that. You know, some of the actors don't even fucking watch their movies. They're like, nah, I'm good. So
that's interesting. I feel
like Johnny Depp, for instance, hasn't seen any of those movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy, because I feel like that should be something that's done. When I was working on pitching and selling, I would play videos back to myself and watch myself, and I feel like that was very helpful for me.
Yeah, it was either Daniel Radcliffe or Rupert Grint, the kids from Harry Potter.
Oh yeah,
Harry or Ron,
yeah,
actors for those. One of them was saying that they had just this last year or something had just watched the first movie finally.
Imagine how weird that would be.
Yeah,
watching your acting from over 10 years ago.
When you're a fucking 12-year-old kid and shit.
You look different. You act different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, given it is acting, but still your demeanor's different, and it's just a whole different vibe. Mm-hmm. I trip out when I look at pictures of myself when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Let alone a video.
Yeah.
That's the thing about this new digital age, that we're in now. There's so much, as far as memories go and images, you're almost guaranteed to have a video of yourself, whereas I don't think there's one video out there of me as a kid, which is strange. My mom has a bazillion pictures, but as far as video, I don't think there's much of it, if any.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I know I did have videos of me when I was younger, but I'd used it was our family camera that we used for vacations and shit, and then I used it when I was a teenager to film Jackass-esque.
I remember that
stuff, and somehow I messed up. It was still a cassette film, and somehow I messed it up. You know how cassettes just mess up sometimes from rewinding and fast forwarding and all that shit. So the fucking tape got fucked up or something. So
really,
just lost. Yeah,
I remember you having that, dude. And
yeah.
I definitely remember the videos too.
You participated in a couple. I forgot about that.
A couple of them. What, stupidshit.com or some shit like that?
Stupid Shit Incorporated.
There you go. I'm surprised I remember that. You guys were highly inspired by Jackass and the crew.
Yeah, I remember. What did you do? You like lit off fireworks with us, right? We were like lighting.
Did we record that?
Yeah.
Oh, we did, huh?
Yeah, on
like some M80s or M1000s or something crazy like that.
I think they were like M250s is what we had at the time. Yeah, we were lighting them off on the lake. And remember, it sounded like
that was fun.
It sounded like thunder because
it
just echoed.
Yeah, I love fireworks on the lake. What's up, Roland? Good to see you, man.
I'll turn this so you can read.
Yeah.
He was talking about acting. He said probably would rather watch it later as an adult than be too judgmental as a kid watching myself in movies.
Yeah, good. I mean, good point. It's probably better to reflect as an adult.
Yeah. And
it's funny, Roland remembers that.
SSI?
Yeah.
He's the one who made it.
Oh, okay.
They had originally done it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they originally did it, and then I jumped in with my own camera and started doing...
Nice. A little SSI history there for my ass.
Yeah. It was good times, man. We had a lot of footage, too. It's kind of disappointing that we lost it all.
Yeah, that sucks. That is the worst when you got a bunch of video that you lost. Whether you lose it or it's on your phone and you broke the phone or something. Yeah. It's like, no.
It's a lot harder to do nowadays with YouTube and cloud storage.
Exactly.
And all shit.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple phones ago, I had a lot of precious images and videos of me building a lot of stuff, particularly that grow site I built out. You know, it took me almost a year to build that thing out. I had a lot of pictures on there and there's no proof of it. It's on my old phone.
that was a cool little facility.
Oh yeah. That was me and that place were like this. I spent a lot of nights by myself in there working on shit. It
was really relaxing in there. I've only been there like twice, very briefly, but
it was cool. And the fact that I double sheetrocked it, especially after the thing was built and I was growing in there was times where I'd just be in there with 300 plants by myself, just pruning and scrogging and listening to metal music. And
seems like a nice place to just relax, even if you weren't working.
And the crazy thing about it is when you're in a room at 2 a.m. pruning with 24,000 watt lights, bright as shit on an all white reflective wall, and then you're done working and you come out at 4 a.m.
You forget that
it's
nice
dark.
out.
Exactly. You hit the dark and it's like, whoa. It's like just a transformation just like that. And
those are like halogen lights too, so they're like simulating the heat. So
it's crazy, man. I forget about that until I think about it right now. That's funny.
That's crazy.
Good times, man. Yeah. A lot of people didn't really see that. Roland said he never got to see this establishment I built out, but like I said, man, I did. Without going into so much detail, I fucking excavated the 150-foot trench for electrical to be put in, and then also excavated another 100-foot trench for natural gas and Wi-Fi and something else. Oh, power. Did that, sheetrocked it, sided that whole thing, sealed the roof. There's so much shit that went on there. It's crazy. 36 light setup. So, but yeah, man. Well, how's your day?
I'm just tired as fuck, honestly.
Just tired as fuck, huh?
Yeah, that
sucks. I'm always tired, I feel like, but not really.
I couldn't sleep last night, and then I fell asleep for a few hours, and then you bought that truck, and then you woke me up, and you're like, hey, can you... I thought it was like right down the road, and then we ended up going to fucking...
Turned it into a mission.
Yeah, it was like 20 minutes one way.
Yeah, that truck... Man.
Yeah, tell me about that, because you were saying
I'm pretty
remorse.
Yeah, so I just bought a truck for the company. I broke my own rule, and the rule is you know, it's the way I sell too. You buy cheap and you end up with cheap results and you regret it. And so I was sitting there working on a budget and trying to get, you know, the cheapest thing, because I was also keeping in mind that it's going to be a work truck and it's also going to be something that I'm not going to be driving. Other people are going to be driving, so it's going to be vulnerable to being disrespected a lot more. So there's a lot of things for me to consider when I'm buying a work truck. But fuck, man, I should have looked into that more. I bought the thing, looks nice. That thing looks clean, right?
There has that busted window. The mirror.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Other than that, the body and the rims and everything else looks.
I mean, yeah,
good.
it doesn't. I didn't see any dents or anything. Yeah.
So it is missing a mirror. That's the only thing, really. But the more importantly is when it's fine while I was there, but when I actually took the thing home, driving home, I went around some roundabouts and I'm hearing some shit moving around. Suspension is clanking and then it's making some weird rotary noises now, and I'm like, what in the fuck? It just fell apart on the ride home, and this is something that's as is off the lot. So I'm committed. I'm stuck with that thing, and so now I'm having buyer's remorse big time because there was another truck I was looking at that they were getting a brand new engine put in it and they couldn't give me a price on the spot. So I left them, said call me back, and so I got this pressure rushing because I'm trying to get this figured out so I'm not relied on 24/7. I'm trying to get another truck set up for another employee so that they can take off with the tools in the truck and do a lot of the stuff that I've been doing 24/7. So I got the sense of urgency playing a role in that, and so man, I really just learned my lesson. It's better off just to wait a little bit, make a better decision. Don't buy cheap.
I'm surprised you bought it so quickly, but
again, it just looked nice, and then I need it also, you know what I mean? The tow package was there, and so there's a lot of things I was considering, but now I don't know what to do. I'm gonna take it to the mechanic tomorrow and find out if it's worth dumping money in to fix it, or if I should trade it up for another, already get rid of it and get the truck that I was looking at, because they called me back today and were like, hey, just so you know, we got the new engine in it and it's gonna be about $1,000 more, which to me is not bad, having a new engine in a truck for $1,000 more.
Yeah, no,
that would have been a no-brainer for me. But since I was in a rush and was out there already, made that bad decision, now I'm really regretting it. And like I said, this is a rule of mine that I always instill and kind of influence people, encourage them to not make decisions on, that's part of my pitch, is not making decisions based on just price. And I went ahead and for the most part broke my own rule, and now I'm paying for it. So life's a bitch, life's a learning lesson, and just got smacked on the wrist for it. So now I got to figure that part out and try to rectify it as quick as possible. And Roland, to answer your question, it was the dealership was 507 in Yelm. You've probably seen them. Maybe you haven't. I don't know if you've been to Yelm, but they got a lot of cars. They got a lot of selection. But I realized that the reason they got a lot is because they go to auctions a lot. And so, yeah, I just made a bad choice. Didn't really look. Oh, you can do engine swaps now, huh? See, the thing is, it's not. I don't think it's an engine thing. It's a suspension thing, because it didn't happen until I went around a roundabout and it made a clank sound. And I've had this similar situation before with another truck. As soon as that happened, it started making that sound again and just vibrating really rough. And then after a few blocks, it stopped. But so yeah, it's yeah, suspension should be cheap. I hope so, man. I've never actually spent money on suspension yet, but I know that a lot of auto work could be expensive. So, but anyways, that's my life lesson. Man, buyer's remorse. I would just encourage people that are spending a good chunk of change to maybe consider spending a little more just to get something nice, so you don't have to worry about problems in the long run.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's the story with the truck, man. So cross my fingers, and tomorrow I'm gonna try to get some answers, figure out if I should keep that thing and commit to it, or just get rid of it, take my losses, and get the truck I really wanted. The other truck had a 4-door. This one's not. This is what you call a 3-door or whatever.
3-door.
Yeah, or the crew cab, where the half door in the back opens up. So you open up the main door and then the back opens up, like my Ford, my old Ford.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's a lot. It looked better too. It was gray, so it kind of matched my truck a little bit. And this one's kind of white, so I was trying to. It was just the ideal fit. You know what I mean? It would have been nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that. What do we got here? What do we got to talk about, man?
Fucking thing I don't know what about that I just seen.
Yeah.
Is like women on Tinder, man. Just another women on Tinder rant is I keep seeing these chicks are going like harder and harder on these fish pictures, man. I just seen this chick, she's like licking a dead fish, dude.
Oh my god.
I'm like, who the fuck are you trying to get with that?
I don't know. Hunters? Fishers. I guess someone who fishes might appreciate that. Like, dude, that chick is down to lick fish.
I don't know, man.
It is strange.
Gross,
It is strange. I don't know what the angle is with that.
No innuendos when I said fish pictures. Like with an actual, like they're fishing, it's a fish.
Yeah.
They're holding a fish.
Actual fish, yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's like a big thing. It's a lot of women take pictures of themselves holding fish.
Yeah, or hunting. I see a lot of hunting pictures.
The hunting
too.
ones are worse, but the fishing ones are a lot more prevalent.
Yeah. It's interesting. Duck lips to fish licks. Am I reading that right? Yeah. Duck lips to fish licks. Yeah, I know, right?
What
a transformation.
I'll take the duck lips.
It's trends, man. You got these trends that happen. One trend that's never broke is the top right pick to the cleavage area.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I ain't afraid to say it, but I noticed the heftier chicks love that shot because it doesn't reveal their whole body. It just hits the money shot. Really.
I like taking those pictures. They make you look good. But my thing, I don't mind those pictures if you have a picture of your body on top of that. You know what I mean? But chicks that only take pictures like that, you have like 6 pictures like that. I'm like, yeah, fuck.
So let's talk about this. Why is it important to you? And yeah, I would agree, me too. But we can get my thoughts on this too. Why is it important to you to reveal, for you to see the whole package when we're talking about physique?
Because physical attraction is important to being just attracted to someone in general. Like there's components to attraction. I do think that you can get away with not looking as good if you have a better personality, but I don't think you can just, for most people, you can't just be like super bad looking. There's a balance between looks and personality, and
I agree.
And everyone has their preferences, but yeah. So
like, obviously there's people out there that are, those people. They're like, well, you're shallow. You should, you should base your decisions off of what they're like on the inside and their personality and their characteristics. What would you say to that?
We're all shallow and stop fronting. Really, that's what I would say to that.
That's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
There's a level of shallowness for everyone, and humans are attracted to aesthetics.
Yeah.
So that's like saying, why don't you like my shitty scribble art? It's like, because it's shitty scribble art, dude.
And then other people be like, no, it's abstract art.
Yeah. I've seen some good abstract art and then some just whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You seen the picture, like the art where it's like two colors. It's just like a blue and a yellow. It's like anyone could have made that.
Yeah, I agree with the abstract art too. I'm like, my daughter could have done a better job than that. Abstract art's, I feel like, a very small percentage of likable quality stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I really like portrait art. That's my favorite. So.
But yeah, back to Tinder.
Right.
That's what it's designed for, is face value stuff. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily designed for. I doubt many people are going on Tinder going, man, I really just need to find a nice solid bio of someone. Let's just search through and just look at the bios, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what you can do on Tinder now is they have an option where you go to add like a picture, but you got prompts now, so I have like questions and you can answer the question. I'm sure you've seen that when you're swiping through people's profiles.
I haven't seen that.
Where it has like a question. It's like a colored background, and it has a question, and then you can write your answer to the question.
That's pretty cool.
So I'm wondering if that's why I'm getting more hits now, or if it's because my new bio that I made, because I remade my profile for everyone that doesn't understand what the fuck I'm saying. Remade my profile. Having better luck right now. I will say, yeah, a lot of people are kind of just on the surface level, but your bio does matter. Maybe it matters more if you're a guy, though.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know why that is, but I am interested in bios a lot too. But again, the physique's got to be there too, and I'm the same way. I got to see what the whole body looks like, because attraction is a huge part of it. I've been through this. I've had relationships where I wasn't completely physically attracted to somebody, and I've tested myself in different scenarios where, instead of always going for the super hot chick, maybe I'm gonna lower my standards, quote unquote, a little bit, and focus on good attitude and good character. And I've done this before. I've been with chicks that I'm like, oh, super great attitude. Not really my personal body type preference, but also not a huge, not a turn off really either. And so I experimented with that, but I found out that the traction's huge for me too. That's physical attraction.
That's kind of my experience too. Is if you try to go into that middle ground, it's kind of wish-washy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just try the fish like I'm not gonna no.
Maybe
we'll do a vegan version, dude.
Like Swedish fish or something like that.
No, it doesn't have to be a fish. It just be like not an eggplant, because that's sending the wrong message with that one. But sometimes
I see what you're saying.
Like a
banana,
like a melon.
A banana.
I mean, for a dude, yeah, okay. You know what? We have enough pictures of you laughing with bananas.
Oh my god, dude! Please post those pictures. You got those still?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Danny was on a kick where he's getting me just cracking. Every picture he got with me, I was holding some bananas and just hysterically laughing.
Yeah.
I was like, "What is going on here, dude?" It's just
that needs to be we just need to have like a
montage of
exactly. Yeah, for real.
Oh man, I forgot about that until you just said that. I don't know why it's so funny, but yeah, me holding a bunch of bananas and cracking up is just fucking funny, man.
Yeah. It's so weird with no context too.
Yeah.
So funny.
It's like, what is going on here? Oh man, good stuff, dude. I was going to, there was a topic that you already kind of touched on. Damn it, I lost it, so it'll come back to me.
That's fun.
But for the time being, since we got limited topics here, let's try to make the most of what we got. It looks like I was talking about, so I got a question. I got a question for you guys as well. Could the COVID-19 lockdown be compared to, with the amount of mental health declining and things like that? Could this lockdown be compared to the treatment that animals get in a zoo when they're locked up for long periods of time, there's a term for that, it's called zoochosis. And it's basically, you've seen them pace back and forth in the cage. That's because they're not meant to be in a cage. They're meant to travel hundreds of miles. Could that be relative to what's going on with this COVID-19 and the mental health decline?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same thing as it's just isolation. That's why like solitary confinement is like one of the worst psychological torture that you can put on someone.
Yeah.
I think there is another level for zoo animals though, because they are trapped, and then they have another species of animal that trap them.
Oh yeah, I never
watching
thought about
them
that.
all the time. You know what I mean?
Confusing.
Yeah. So that must be like creepy, I guess. I don't know. It must be
that is
or like
interesting.
just like strange to them.
Yeah. I never thought about that aspect of it.
Yeah.
You got a different species. You're confused. You've got questions, and then you're also probably nervous.
Yeah, imagine if like aliens came here and threw us in cages, and then they were just watching us all the time. We'd be freaked the fuck out, dude. We'd be like, "What
That's
the
a good
fuck,
point, man?"
Dude? And they just like throw you food every once in a while.
That would be insane. That's a great analogy, actually.
Yeah, or they're like, "All right, we're gonna train this human. You're gonna jump through these hoops and shit." And the other aliens are like, that's what they do with the whales and shit, or the tigers and shit. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't get me started on the whales, man. I'll refer to the documentary Blackfish. Have you seen it?
Is that the one? I think it's the one you were watching like a couple months ago.
Yeah, me and Malia watched it. Matter of fact, we're gonna have to do a review on that on the Dynamic Duo podcast. But we watched Blackfish. If you haven't seen it, it's about killer whales at SeaWorld.
I tuned in for part of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I mean,
shit's intense, dude.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's intense, and it's real life, man. Well, let's see what Roland has to say. Let's see. You thought about that when Amber said her family wanted to go to the Squim to the game farm. I've never been, but she said it's sad up there. Yeah, I believe that, man. I've never heard of the Sequim game farm.
They have like deer and shit, I'm assuming?
Probably much like,
game farm?
is that kind of like the Northwest Trek in Eatonville, where they kind of like got an open area and you can kind of go on a trail and look at wildlife? They're not necessarily in, well, I don't know, I've never been there, but I think the majority of them are not natural cages.
Do they have mountain lions? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
That'd be scary as fuck.
Yeah, it is scary. Roland says, well, gorillas locked up freak him out. When you see them in a zoo, whales and bears too, huh? Yeah, apparently they do have bears and mountain lions and goats.
I was thinking, what? Point Defiance?
Crazy.
Point Defiance, they have bears there?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, what I always thought was interesting about the bears is they had like a trench in between you and the bears, but you're like on the same level as the bears, or like pretty similar.
The ones I seen were through a glass.
Yeah, they weren't in glass.
The big brown bears, you can see through the glass.
Maybe it wasn't Point Defiance, but there was a zoo I think it was Point Defiance. Maybe I'm wrong. There was a zoo I went to though where the bears were like, there was like a fence, you know, in front of you, but it wasn't even that high, and then there was just like a trench. You know what I mean?
That shit's weird. Oh yeah.
And they're on the other side.
Seen that?
Yeah,
not there, but I've seen it on TV.
They're kind of like on an island. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that far away either, and you're like, this seems kind of sketchy.
You see it, and you're like, man, if the bear really wanted to and was committed to getting over here, he could,
like
type thing.
Full sprint and jump.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. Or maybe
weird.
they know the limitations. Maybe they made it perfectly the distance where the bears couldn't make it or something, you know?
Yeah. See, Roland says the bears walk back and forth, and that's actually exactly what zoochosis is. It's a symptom, a clear symptom of
Pacing.
going through zoochosis, yeah. Pacing back and forth. I had these conversations before, but I absolutely hate zoos. Animals are, and I'm biased too, obviously. It's just part of my plant-based. But again, there's people out there that they're vegan, they go to zoos and stuff, and I take it to another level too. I also don't agree with horseback riding. So, you know, there's facts proven that fucks up their back. They're not meant to be ridden.
That's, you know what? That's probably true. I mean,
it is true. There's facts, and if you don't believe me, go. There's an episode of it called what is that called? Bite Size Vegan. Her name's Emily. She's got a lot of facts on this from good resources, and there's an episode where she talks about horseback riding on there. That's a show that me and my daughter watch quite a bit. But a lot of people won't agree with me on the horseback riding part of it.
I think horseback riding is fucking pointless nowadays.
There's a huge disconnect. Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Why do you ride horses? What do you feel about horseback riding in movies then? You watch movies with horseback riding? Like what? I feel like that's kind of hard to avoid.
I feel like that's more acceptable than committing an animal to doing that for a living all the time, or not even for a living, just it's still fucked up. But because obviously the animal can't speak up for themselves and say, yes, it's okay, I give you permission.
I wonder if they can make like realistic looking horses with CGI now to the point where they could just like be like on a machine that's, you know, in the shape of a
absolutely
horse. So
they could.
That probably would be they probably will end up doing that anyway.
Yeah, because I don't like it or agree with any of it at all, but I would say, you know, that's the lesser of the two evils if we're talking about horseback riding. It doesn't need to happen, whether it's a movie or transportation. We've, again, in my opinion, the same thing with veganism. We have graduated from these eras that we no longer need to eat meat to live and or ride a horseback to travel.
Yeah, so you can still have horses. But riding them has always been strange to me. First of all, you have to like tame a horse you have to like train it, right, to be able to ride it. So they don't naturally want to be ridden.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the whole concept. You got to put the reins, is that what that's called? And they're around their mouth.
Does it go around their mouth?
I think it goes around their mouth, yeah.
Okay.
And then you tug on their head. Obviously, it's an unpleasant experience. There's no way someone would see that and say that, yeah, they like it. This is cool. But again, people tell themselves weird shit too to justify it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I never really thought about it being unpleasant for the horses. I just maybe a little bit, but I always just thought it was a strange thing to do now that we have cars and stuff. It's like,
it
why?
is. Absolutely.
I understand why they did it before cars. It makes sense. Like, how else are you gonna move across fast distances as humans? Because we're slow as fuck.
There's always a lot of layers to reasons why people do things. You know, like this could be the same reason that people like old vintage cars. You know what I mean? It could be that one of the main reasons, my suspicion that people have animals is for selfish reasons. The way that animal makes them feel, the animal is reliant on them, so that's one aspect. It could be there's a lot of layers to why people would do that.
Yeah, I think I would get a dog for like my mental health. But I wouldn't get it for the feeling of like this animal depends on me. It'd be more like I depend on the animal. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting one.
To like make me feel like I have someone there.
Yeah.
For me, you know what I mean? So that's kind of my take on it. But that's why I kind of think of like dogs as people use them like almost like therapeutically or like medicinally, you know what I mean? For happiness.
You can almost, if you spend enough time with someone and their animal, like a human and a dog, you can almost figure out what their motive is and their agenda is for doing it. And what I mean by that is, you'll see some people who are just fucked up to their animals, right? You know, like yelling at their dog and beating them and whatever. That's a control thing, dude.
Yeah.
They get off on that shit. And so there's another layer. You see what I mean? Like, we have all these fucking layers and reasons as to why people own animals.
You have the people that get dogs on a fucking...
What do you mean by that, Roland? What's a Western? You have to elaborate on that.
A movie?
Oh, Western movie? I do like Western movies, and I think Danny had a good point, though. I think we've gotten to the technological point where we just don't need to ride horses and it'll look pretty real. I mean, Lord of the Rings pulled it off.
But if you, the new Lion King movie...
Not all the scenes. The close-up scenes obviously had horses, but you know what I mean. Like
but the new Lion King movie was all CGI.
Was it really? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you
Good
should.
or bad?
It's good, but it's also bad. It's hard to explain. So it's so realistic looking that it's kind of uncanny when they're talking, because they didn't like humanize their faces enough to the point where like it looks exactly like an animal moving its mouth, but then it's making like human voice noises, and it just doesn't really match up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
that would be weird.
And it's weird for like, you get kind of used to it after you watch it for a little bit, but like for like the first 15 minutes, you're like, it's kind of a put off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Visually, it's great, but yeah, that's a little weird. And then you can't show as much emotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at like the cartoon, like the old. They have eyebrows and stuff, and you can see the emotion. There's human emotions put onto these animals.
It's extreme. Their emotions are like, if they're really happy, it's a huge smile. If they're sad, it's really impactful.
And I mean, I'm sure animals feel those emotions, but we can't see them as well as we can see with human faces. So that's why we attach those human facial expressions onto animals in cartoons so that we can understand their emotions.
Yeah, that's what's great about cartoons with animals talking specifically. Yeah, because the Lion King, the original Lion King, was a huge hit, dude. When I was a kid,
still a masterpiece in my opinion.
It was a good movie, really, really good movie. Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. The zoo talk. So that, and again, we got on off the rails, but I think we got the point that this mental health decline for people being stuck at home all the time could be relative to the zoochosis that's happening to animals locked up in cages. So
yeah, I know.
A taste of our own medicine, if you will. But not even as extreme, because we can go outside. We really still have liberty.
It just doesn't feel like it. And also, we're really social animals, and so not being able to go to social events and stuff really puts a toll on you, I think. At least for me personally.
I think all animals are social animals. We just don't know it. You know what I mean? For the most part.
Yeah, I think most.
We just don't know. We hear the communication, but we really don't know. Unless we understood. If we had a translator that, much like language translators that translated animal sounds, we'd probably get a huge insight into how much they actually communicate.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think of animals that wouldn't be social off the top of my head. I cannot think of one right now.
Yeah, me either. They're all usually in small groups, if at the very least.
In small groups.
At the very least. And then you obviously got the massive groups, you know?
Yeah.
Like fish, birds. You imagine, like birds, those big swarming groups.
I mean, humans move in huge groups if you go to cities, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy how the birds do that?
Mm-hmm.
In a group, they change direction all at once. Isn't that fascinating, dude? That always impressed me.
It's a
split
that's
second.
That's another topic. It's like, how do animals communicate, and why can't we understand them? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right? Why can't we, if we can come up with a translator for languages, I feel like we should be close to converting their languages, maybe. They gotta have... It's beyond me.
They gotta have some form of communication with sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how come we can't understand... You know what I mean? Do they make the same fucking sound for the same things every time? Because
no, it's got to be pitch variations for one.
It's a different form of communication, but still with sound.
Yeah, and then it's hard to imagine that just pitch variation is allows a huge vocabulary. You know what I mean?
Well, like Mandarin, I think, if I remember correctly, has pitch variations, and words that have the same vowels but different pitches have different meanings.
Okay, so that's probably similar to like a whale making, because they have just pitches that they're communicating in.
Yeah, and even in English we have words with different like stresses that mean different things. I think there's one off the top of my head, but there's words where if you like stress the middle vowel versus the end vowel or the first vowel, it'll have different meanings.
Yeah, it's fascinating shit. I hope we're
so if other animals are using stresses and pitch variations and shit for language or whatever, then first of all they don't even have human sounds, so you have to differentiate their sounds and then figure out how they're communicating on top of that. That's probably why. Also, we're so self-absorbed that like I wonder how many studies they've done trying to actually figure that out.
Yeah, good point. Well, because animals are used, so I mean, what do we care? Apparently, I mean, I don't care, but you speaking for the majority of people, like, what do we care to understand what they're saying?
So I mean, scientists definitely study them though. Like apes, for instance, monkeys and apes and stuff, they totally communicate.
Absolutely,
they can come in groups and like make plans and shit. So they are definitely talking to each other.
Yeah.
With their grunts in some way or another. I don't know how they differentiate the different grunts meaning different things. And I mean, they got grunts and howls and weird noises and shit.
And then they got mannerisms too to do stuff.
I guess the thing is though, is like they say verbal communication, even in humans, is it's more about tone and body language than it is about what you're actually saying.
Yeah. I believe that. There's some languages that do that already, you know? It's like, whoa, dude, you sound pissed off. Relax. It's like just their way of speaking.
You're talking about Russians? Germans?
Maybe like Asian? Maybe?
You think Asian people sound pissed off all the time?
Maybe, you know? Like
I think it's because they talk quick and kind of sharp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
That deep voice, you know, like that was a very
stereotypical fucking Japanese accent.
And again, I make fun of everybody, including myself, so don't take offense to that.
You've been watching anime.
Oh yeah, I was getting into anime. We got to do a anime review next Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
So we'll give you our insight into the anime world.
We got like 2 shows we tried out. We think we should get a third one in there just for good measure, huh?
Maybe we should, yeah. The one that we enjoyed watching, though, we should definitely watch.
Like 3 episodes.
Yeah. Okay.
Watch Hellsing?
Hellsing, huh? Like Van Helsing? That's probably relative to the one that we're actually watching. Because I think Van Helsing is Dracula related, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
You know what? Actually, Roland's probably a good dude to ask for anime recommendations. He showed me.
Well, we might check it out.
And then he showed me this anime called The Devil's a Part-Timer, which is kind of like a comedy anime. It's real short, but it's hilarious, and I loved it. So
nice.
Roland actually shows me good stuff.
Quality stuff, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, back to the COVID-19 thing. I got a couple other things. So there's a vaccine, right?
I mean, there's vaccines and testing. There isn't any that have been released to the general public.
Okay, so there's talk of vaccine happening, emerging.
I think they're saying the earliest it could be released to everyone, though, is beginning of 2021.
So there's no way they're not making it mandatory, right? This is not, I mean, could they? Is that a thing? What if they did?
They could.
What would you say to a mandatory vaccine? What would you guys say to a mandatory vaccine?
I would say yes to the optional vaccine.
Oh, okay.
Just because I've done enough research on vaccines that I'm not afraid of vaccines. I don't think they're going to poison the whole fucking world, at least intentionally, so...
Interesting.
Helsing.
Oh, Helsing is the name of the vampire that hurts vampires, but is pretty badass. Nice. Yeah, I do remember the movie. I can't remember who the damn actor was. I feel like it was Hugh Jackman, but...
That sounds...
Yeah?
Kind of right.
I think it was Hugh Jackman. Correct me if I'm wrong again, but I do remember watching the movie. That was pretty good. Pretty good movie. I might have even played the game at one time, too.
I don't think the vaccine should be mandatory, but I think that most people should take it by choice.
Yeah. Okay.
There's also people that even if you don't even worry about... because people have this fucking vaccine conspiracy theories and shit, which I think are fucking stupid. I'm just gonna put that out there. So many people get vaccines. A lot of people are fucking fine. It's fucking ridiculous. But I think some people are actually allergic to certain vaccines and stuff, and I think that if you aren't comfortable taking a vaccine like that one, for instance, I think it'd be fine as long as the majority of people are taking it. So
yeah, me and you have had this conversation before about vaccines.
Yeah, I'm afraid to get into it because you were kind of on different sides of it, right? So
that's exactly why we should have conversations like this. So there's a group of people that think of conspiracies, right, as far as a mandatory vaccine is concerned, and then there's people like me who are just afraid of the unknown. I guess there's no conspiracy. It's just there could be a conspiracy, but it's more of the unknown.
I mean, you got a ton of vaccines as a kid. You got measles, mumps, rubella.
Doesn't that fade after time though? You got to get checkups and
MMR. Yeah, because that's how your immune system works. You get an immunity to something. Some things, some viruses, your body can build immunity for a really long period of time, and some viruses are a short period of time, like the flu. You have to keep periodically getting it because it mutates, and then your body doesn't keep immunity to it for that long. Where like the chicken pox, for instance, you get the chicken pox, you're supposed to have immunity to it for life, right? So that's an example. That's an example of your body building immunity. So if they have do they have a chicken pox vaccine? They must, right? So if you get a chicken pox vaccine, then you won't actually get chicken pox, but then you should have immunity to it to life. So that's basically what a vaccine is doing. It's just giving you the virus in a non-dangerous form so that your body can build immunity to it.
See, the thing about me is, yes, I have had vaccines when I was a kid, but I haven't had vaccines in 15, 20 years.
You should definitely get some of them. Like, if you haven't had a tetanus one in a while, you should definitely get a tetanus vaccine because, especially in your line of work, it's kind of dangerous. You get tetanus, it's like if you don't get it treated, you have a 25% chance of dying.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did I get a tetanus shot? I think I did get a tetanus shot when I sliced my hand open at work years back.
Yeah.
But again, I don't remember. That was just a suggestion that they told me, and so...
just because you slice your hand up doesn't mean that you're going to get tetanus. But there's a risk of it, obviously. So depending, how clean the blade is, what's on it. Tetanus lives in the soil, so.
Oh, okay.
When people say like don't step on a rusty nail, it's not that a rusty nail will give you tetanus. It's like if a rusty nail is in the dirt, it could have tetanus on it from the soil.
Wow. And
then if you step on it, that basically it'll puncture your skin, and then the tetanus will go into your bloodstream, and then now you have tetanus in your bloodstream.
Crazy. So mom chimed in with after you've grown up, you need a booster shot every 10 years. And then she said, I need to. I need to get a vaccine, I guess. But again, mom, I haven't had a vaccine in almost 20 years, and
I
haven't had like a real extensive sickness other than recently and last February. That was the longest I've been sick.
Another one you should probably get is like hepatitis A.
Oh, okay.
They have a vaccine for that. That you'll get like super fucking sick from that, like stomach sickness.
Shit's
You can
scary,
get, like,
no doubt.
sick. Have you heard it's Hep A? Usually
It's
spread
not
through-
since school though. I'm out of I mean, I learned about all this shit.
It
when I
doesn't
was-
happen that often, but every once in a while people get real fucking sick from it. People don't usually die from it. I don't know if people die from it, but people get really fucking sick from it for like, I think up to a week or something. So
Crazy. I mean, yeah, I've heard about all this when, especially I think it was home ec class. I don't know why, but my home ec was intense. They showed STDs, but man, when they went over the STDs in my class, they showed a slide of genitalia just
yeah.
engrossed with all these different things. And I was like, holy shit, is all the home ec classes doing this? And so it's pretty intense. What's ironic is your mom actually was anti-vaccine. And I know she was uneducated maybe.
I was
about
gonna
it.
say it doesn't mean it's just not this.
I thought it was ironic though that you're pro and she's not.
I think it's
Because
probably
she did look into it a little bit.
Well, okay, here's the thing. The guy that it's because my brother is autistic, which is her son.
Mm-hmm.
He's very autistic. Yeah. I was just saying that because people were like, "Are you talking about yourself?" I'm like, maybe, maybe a little bit, but I mean, like, he can't even talk. So, I think she just heard that fucking report that vaccines might cause autism. That's probably what caused it for her. But that guy's been disproven, and he got his medical license taken away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he can't even practice medicine anymore.
So it was kind of one individual that she got
Yeah.
information from.
Well, everyone got that, and that's where the vaccine scare started from. Because of that. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know where she got that information, but I know she was on a huge anti-vaccine kick because of it.
Yeah. Roland said, I seen a guy with lockjaw at the hospital waiting room. They ran out with the syringe and shot him in the neck in the waiting room.
Holy shit,
And
that's
it's probably
intense.
because lockjaw is a symptom of tetanus.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Jesus, that sounds scary, dude.
Yeah.
Lockjaw. Oh my god. That sounds frightening. Oh, so mom says, yeah, they thought vaccines caused autism. Yep, that's exactly what Selena was talking about. Or she didn't really, I don't know if she was, leaning on that or not, but she definitely, well, I don't know. I can't remember now. I think she might have been part of that.
I think autism is more from diet, honestly.
Diet, huh?
Yeah, because if you look at all the health problems, it's the more animal products, the more cheese and stuff we're eating over time. It's all the toxins from that. I think all these like shit like that is from diet, honestly. That's
Interesting.
my theory. It's not fact. I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm just saying.
You should go to school for that and prove that theory.
I was already in school for science. It's not my thing, apparently.
You
I mean,
can contribute so much value to the world with that.
fast food in the 80s. Yeah, Roland said diet. Yes, agreed. Fast food in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, David loves fast food, man. Chicken nuggets and fucking McDonald's and shit all the time.
Well, that's parenting. You're talking about. I thought you were talking about something different. I thought you were saying the reason autism is developed is because of the genetics of
The parents?
the parents having a poor diet.
Oh, it could be.
I thought that's what you were saying.
It could be that, or it could be while they're developing. They could, not be born with autism and develop it while they're developing, and then, it shows around 3 or 4 when you're like, why isn't this kid fucking talking? You know what I mean? Or like, why are they
Yeah.
acting weird? It could
That's
be from
interesting.
toxins in the food, you know what I mean?
So
Fucking
there
with
could
the brain
be-
development.
Could be a theory that
Yeah, just a theory.
using your brother as an example, he was perfectly normal and
He was a normal baby, yeah.
and it got developed with poor diet is what you're saying.
Yeah.
A theory.
Yeah,
That's
we didn't
interesting.
really start looking into it until he was like 2.5, 3, right? Because we were like,
Yeah.
what's going on with him? You know what I mean? Because until then, he seemed fine. He seemed like a normal baby,
Yeah. Mom, she said you loved McDonald's fries.
Well, I didn't turn out perfect, so see.
It's a theory, Mom. Yeah, good point, but Again, maybe he was one of the lucky ones. We don't know. It's an interesting theory, though.
Well, I think there's a risk with everything. You know what I mean? It's just like just because you smoke doesn't mean you're going to get cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because even if this theory were to be true, that doesn't mean that every single person that eats shitty food is going to get autism. It's just you have a higher chance than someone that doesn't. Maybe in this scenario.
Yeah, it's not one or the other type thing.
Aspartame, that's a good one. Yeah. You heard of aspartame?
I've heard of it. I forgot what it is.
Artificial sweetener. They use it a lot in gum and diet soda and shit.
I would, whatever. I think if I've seen it, if I can't pronounce this shit, I usually don't eat it anyway. So I don't know what that is, so I wouldn't have.
It's the sweetener in Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi and shit. They don't use sugar.
Oh, okay. I have heard of that actually.
Yeah,
but a little different from high fructose corn syrup, which he said hydrogenated corn syrup.
Yeah.
Which that's proven to be fucking damaging for you too.
Oh, aspartame's way worse than high fructose corn syrup.
Is it?
Way worse, yeah.
Oh, good thing I don't eat it.
Yeah, you know the interesting thing about high fructose corn syrup? I think
Malia doesn't.
Is I don't know if this is true, but they're saying that like a percentage of high fructose corn syrup, like a small percentage of it, has mercury in it.
Which of what?
Mercury in the high fructose corn syrup. Which mercury is like really damaging to your brain.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not knowledgeable enough on the mercury, which is, I guess you got high amounts of mercury in fish too, right?
Yeah. I think you know that like Jekyll and Hyde kind of story, the mad scientist kind of theme is. I think that was developed, if I remember correctly, from scientists that were experimenting with mercury and going crazy from using too much, like accidentally ingesting too much mercury and shit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Scary, man. Scary. We need some more scientific proof on this shit, and why don't we have it yet? Right?
Well, that was back in the day. Now they know mercury is poisonous, so.
Interesting. Stay away from that mercury. Less fish, people. Less fish. Not only that, fish are fucking contaminated with plastic toxins as well.
Yeah.
That fascinated me. I watched this one documentary with I forgot her name. But
it's really unreliable to get clean fish.
Oh,
I mean, you can, or cleaner, you know what I mean, but it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to know the sources, you know what I mean, and where you're getting it. In theory, fish would be the most healthy meat to eat if you can make sure it doesn't have plastics and chemicals from water in it.
Yeah,
that are in water.
I was enlightened on that in that documentary I was talking about. I don't remember this lady that's been diving. You know, she's one of the most famous divers out there. She's her and her husband invented the that little miniature sub that goes down deep sea diving. They invented that. She's done like over 2,000 dives, and they went out and did a study. Went thousands of miles out into the middle of the ocean, just scooped up water and tested it for plastic ppms in it.
Yeah.
And it had a high amount. I can't remember what the percentage is now because it's been years since I've seen it, but just the thought of that alone, scooping up a random cup thousands of miles out in the middle of the ocean and coming back with a ppm rate of plastics in it, it's pretty fucking wild, dude.
Not only that, but there's been kind of a theory behind you heard of Lou Gehrig's disease?
I have. What is it again though?
Lou Gehrig, that's like what Stephen Hawking had.
Okay.
Where it like basically atrophies your whole body.
Yeah.
Most people die from it within like a couple of years of getting diagnosed with it.
Yeah. That's
he's like
his body just shut down then?
Yeah.
Except for his neck up, I get. Well, no, he still was kind of.
Yeah, he had very little
movement.
Yeah. It happened to him when he was like in his late 20s or early 30s.
That's
when
crazy.
It developed. Yeah. But there's been like a theory because they've been trying to find the correlation, and a lot of those people eat a lot of fucking shellfish is what it is.
Ooh.
And what I thought was interesting was in Neil deGrasse Tyson interviewed Stephen Hawking, and he's like, Neil deGrasse Tyson's like, my favorite food's pizza, what's yours? And Stephen Hawking I think said oysters. He said oysters or clams or something, which wasn't surprising to me just because I've already heard that theory, and then when he said it, I was like, that explains it.
That's crazy. Yeah, apparently, it didn't stop his brain, right? I guess he was a fucking genius.
It might have been, I don't know if people, destiny or whatever, people believe in that shit, but it might have been what he was destined to do, you know what I mean? Because then all he could focus on was science, you know what I mean? He couldn't do anything else with his life, really, because he could only use his mind.
Yeah, when you're limited to things, you really focus a lot more on those limitations that you have on the thing that you have going on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Apparently he could only move his lip.
Yeah, I seen him smile, so and his eyes, obviously he can move his eyes.
It's been so long since I've seen a video with him in it, but I have seen him for sure.
Yeah. He died in 2017 or 2018, I can't remember.
Yeah, not too long ago, huh?
Yeah. He looked pretty old though, he was in his 70s I think when he died.
Crazy.
Jeez. He lived with Lou Gehrig's disease for like 40 years, and that's like unheard of, so.
I was going to say that's old for his symptoms and his condition for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not very old as just a human being, man. When I hear...
I think it was like 75.
Yeah.
That's pretty, it's like average.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is that's the new day average type shit. I don't know. I don't think we're designed to live that short of a time. You know what I mean? But on a better diet, an average would probably be higher than that.
Well, part of the reason we live so long now is because of medicine, though.
Hmm.
We used to die a lot younger. Huh? People used to die a lot younger back in the day just because of medicine.
Oh, yeah. The person I like to use as a reference, I know this is just one individual, but Ellsworth Wareham. Have you heard of him?
Mm.
The dude lived to be like 104 years old.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was mowing his lawn in his 90s.
Was he he was the vegan dude?
Plant-based, yeah.
Yeah.
For like 60 years.
Yeah, I remember. I think he was a heart surgeon, wasn't he?
You might have been you might be thinking of Caldwell Esselstyn.
No.
Okay. He's the guy that proved that cancer can be reversed through plant-based diet. Through actual testing on subjects.
Did you do cancer? I know it's also been proven that you can reverse atherosclerosis, which people who don't know what that is, it's when the plaque builds up in your arteries.
Yeah, coronary artery disease.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love those studies, man, because it's proof.
Also, just for good measure, it has to be a really whole food plant-based diet. It has to be a healthy plant. I often eat an unhealthy vegan diet, so that doesn't mean I don't.
Sometimes I do too. You know,
I don't
oily
think
foods and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I'm invincible because I don't eat that perfect plant-based diet. But if you were to eat that perfect plant-based diet, it can have pretty beneficial benefits.
But there's stages, though, in my opinion. Like, there's the person that eats meat all the time. Mm-hmm. Then there's a person that eats a reduced amount of meat. Better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the person that doesn't eat meat at all, but eats oily foods and is the lazy vegan.
No.
You might fall in that category. I don't know. I fall in it too sometimes.
I try to avoid oil. I'm more of a sugar and saturated fat dude. Like, I don't know. It's like processed stuff, but not necessarily oily. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's in stage. Every stage towards a whole foods is better, not only for your health, but for the world impact as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of layers to that, which we'll get into in another time as well. And the reason for that is because I think because I meant to do a review on, I seen James Aspey, which I follow. That dude I really admire quite a bit, and he did a video that I looked at, and he was talking about a lot of this shit. Had very good perspectives on this shit that people hadn't thought of. Mm-hmm. And so I meant to review it. We'll talk about it Saturday, and I think we'll pick up this particular conversation a little bit more during that time.
Okay.
Because it's very fascinating. His verbiage is thought provoking, and it's eye opening to the people who don't put any thought to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know how to say your name.
What is up?
Quasanes?
Dude or dude?
Quascians?
Yeah. What is up?
I don't know how to pronounce your name, but yeah, what's up?
How's it going? Welcome to the conversations we're having, and chime in with some of your feedback, please. So yeah, the vaccine. Speaking of vaccines, there was a guy. What's up?
Oh, I was gonna say they did find this medicine that's supposed to help people that are like on ventilators and stuff recover at a higher rate and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But that's a treatment. It's not a vaccine. Vaccine's preventing you from getting it.
Yeah.
Treatments are treating, obviously, the cause, the symptoms of your.
Yeah. Trying to alleviate the symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of vaccine, there was a guy, I don't know if it was in Seattle or somewhere else. I didn't catch that part, but I did catch the rest of it. This guy was selling a vaccine for COVID-19. Did you hear about this?
No, but
He was selling a vaccine for COVID-19 to people, like black market, if you will. He was charging them about $400 a piece for this. It was obviously a fake. It's not a real vaccine for COVID-19. He sold it to about 30 or 40 people before he got caught. And so now he's going to court for that. And
Jesus, man.
he might not get convicted of anything, but that's pretty fucked up.
No, I'm not talking about hydroxychloroquine. There's another one that Trump isn't taking that they've been testing in Europe, I think, a lot.
Oh, okay.
It starts with DEM. I forget the whole name of it though.
Hydrochloroquine. Good job for you for spelling that. Jesus.
Hydroxychloroquine. Yeah.
Hydroxychloroquine. That's a lengthy one right there.
That's not that bad. There's some hardcore fucking medicine names.
Right. Extremis cockamus. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of fucked up. That guy is selling a vaccine that was...
People will take advantage of people's fear all the time.
Yeah, they sure have. Just like, well, that's a little bit different. People just take advantage, period. But the fear is just an added advantage.
People forget that humans are animals and we're related to other primates, which are very sneaky and selfish. You know what I mean? You watch monkeys and apes and shit, they do some sketchy shit. So
yeah, and
humans are no different.
Probably fear-based tactics as well. We don't really fully see, but
yeah, I mean, it's groups of monkey, like chimps, for instance, will like terrorize other chimps and stuff. So
I have seen that.
Yeah, it's we're not that much different. We're just smarter.
I work to get. You can work against yourself with fear, like I did. I bought the truck I shouldn't have. Made my own fear.
Dude, I know. I'm a textbook example of that. So
yeah, fear, man. Fear is a motherfucker.
You say fake. Roland said they found and stopped thousands of fake vaccines for COVID coming in from Canada. I've seen that on the news. Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, it's just part of those scams going on, man. Everybody's just
don't take a vaccine unless it's actually at the doctor's office. Okay, just don't go in an alleyway.
Their license too.
On top of that, is like if you go into like some fucking weird back alley vaccine things, like how do you even know the syringe is fucking clean? That's like you get other diseases and shit. You get Hep C and AIDS and shit.
I hate syringes, dude. How are you with syringes?
Oh, I hate them too. I used to be terrified of them. I'm not as bad now, but I used to fucking they're like my nightmare.
So you probably can't, like when you're getting a shot, you can't really look at it. You looking at it, or you're a look away guy?
I look away.
Me too.
I can take a shot, but I don't want to watch it.
I'm the same way. I can take a shot. I hate it, but I don't want to watch it either.
I don't really hate it. I just it's not pleasant, but I'm just like, I don't look, and then I feel a slight pinch, and then they do what they gotta do. It's uncomfortable for a second, and they take it away, and I'm like, all right, we're done.
I watched a dude pass out one time when he was getting a shot.
Really?
Right on the spot, just his head fell over and he just passed out. That happened to me when I was getting a tattoo one time. Believe it or not.
You passed out. You know what's funny is you don't like needles, but you got tattoos, which is literally a needle.
I know. I've heard this before. It's different though, obviously, when you get in your veins. You know what I mean? A needle that's 1/8 inch thick as opposed to a needle that's inch long is
some of those needles
terrifying, dude.
A couple inches long.
Yeah, I was getting a tattoo, and this rush came over me, and I think it had to do with my diet at the time. I didn't have sugar, whatever. And I just remember passing out. My head fell down. I was coming to, and the guy tattooing me was still tattooing. I could hear him talk too, and my friend's mom and his sister were sitting there staring at me. They're like, "Are you okay?" And I could hear the tattoo guy. His name was Jeff. Super cool dude, actually. He was like, "Yeah, he'll be fine. Leave him alone." He was just still going to work on me.
That's funny.
It's pretty funny. Man.
You know where I hate getting shots the most is the dentist.
Yes.
Dude,
oh my god.
You're sitting there, you could just see this huge needle going into your mouth, and you could just feel it going into your gums.
You know, it makes all the difference on your dentist too in the process. I'm very thankful. You go to the same dentist I do, it seems like.
Yeah.
And depending on the dentist you get there.
Do you have the woman or man?
I've had them all, dude.
Okay.
Have
you had the blonde woman?
Yes.
I really like her.
Super cool.
Yeah.
She has a way of doing things too. They'll put what is it? Not Novocaine.
But they put that gel.
Anesthetic.
They put the gel on first to slightly numb it.
Yeah.
And then they give it a shot.
They'll even just slightly squirt a little bit of anesthetic and let that numb it out before they get the full amount in there. They kind of work their way up to it, you know what I mean? And that is, oh my god, I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
I don't
know if you're like me, but I think it's because my metabolism is so fast. But like the anesthetic, whatever they shoot you with, it goes away real fast for me.
Yeah,
like faster than when I had a tooth back here that I had pulled and the root was curved. Which is just the worst. They had to break apart the tooth, like saw it and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it took a couple hours because they couldn't get it done, but they had to give me like 20 to 30 shots.
Crazy.
Because it just kept going away, and she kept like working on it, and I was like, ow. And she's like, you can feel that? And I was like, yeah. And they just kept giving me shots, and it just kept going away, and it was, dude, like every other tooth I've had pulled, I've had 3 teeth pulled now. Yeah, 3 teeth pulled. The other 2 I had pulled took like a day or 2 to recover. That was the first one I had pulled, and that literally took me like 5 to 7 days to recover from. Like I couldn't even eat solid food and shit, just because of how much it fucked up my gums.
Yeah, it's no fun, man. No fun. And speaking of injections, my daughter had a tooth pulled one time a few years ago. One of the worst fucking experiences I've ever gone through as far as watching my daughter go and having pain induced. Yeah, they didn't really work their way up to it. The dude just, on top of that, I had to help hold her arms down so she didn't,
Yeah.
And the blood curdling scream that she let out, dude, I can still remember it to this day.
Yeah.
I felt really, really bad for her. It was excruciating pain.
Yeah.
Type sound. And my mom said apparently Laura passed out once getting a blood test. Just like I was talking about, she slid right out of the chair, and she had to go pick her up off the floor. That's crazy, man. Laura's a passer outer. She's also, yeah, I didn't know that until because I used to smoke weed when I was a kid, and Laura also smoked weed with me for a while. When I moved to California, she apparently had a bad experience where she was smoking weed with our friend and she passed out. Ever since then, she's been scared of it. And so I was like, how did that happen? Me and you used to smoke weed all the time. Like, yeah. She's like,
I guess it kind of runs in the family. How I fainted on shrooms. So.
Yeah.
You did too, right? Didn't you fucking...
I had one bad trip. Yeah. Oh, that's something we were going to talk about actually on my thing, psychedelics.
Really? Okay.
This is a great segue. So let's talk about, I think we talked about this? I feel like we did talk about it on one episode. But
what's that?
Your trip.
No, I don't think so.
Let's talk about this. What was so what's your thought on psychedelics first of all, and then we'll talk about your experience.
I think
good things and bad things.
I think it's good for people that if you don't have a bad trip. I think it's really, especially what I've heard from a lot of people is if you have it in the right setting, it can be very like spiritual or like mind opening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't quite like that though. We were kind of
You never had a moment like that?
No, because we did it in like a recreational setting. You know what I mean? It wasn't that setting. Like we watched cartoons and music videos and shit. Like there's no way I was gonna have a spiritual.
What did you have a fun time? Not really spiritual, but
yeah, I did.
You can really have a spiritual time watching stuff too, though.
Yeah, I guess I had a good time. It was super intense, probably more intense than I would want to be. Like I'll get like shit faced on alcohol, and shrooms is like that times 2 or 3 or whatever. It's super intense. So fucked up. But yeah, I had a good time. Remember, because I was like laughing my ass off. We just couldn't stop laughing for like 45 fucking minutes straight. I was just giggling.
Nice.
That was a good time. I would say watching UFC while I was on shrooms was not very fun. Not a fan.
It's a weird thing to watch when you're frying.
Yeah. But I'm terrified of shrooms though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you've taken them after your bad trip, right?
once.
Okay.
I've only taken shrooms twice.
Okay.
The first time, I fainted. We were watching Futurama, and like Bender looked like he was like coming out of the fucking TV, and Bender just has like those evil eyebrows and shit, and so it was just giving me a bad vibe, and I started feeling like a little weird. I remember I told you, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna fucking puke, dude. And you're like, well, go fucking puke then.
I totally remember this.
So then I started walking down the hallway, and as I'm walking down the hallway, my vision is just like getting more and more obscure. You know what I mean? I'm getting that tunnel vision. It's just like pinpointing in.
And you were walking down a narrow hall.
Yeah, I'm walking down a narrow hall, and my vision's going like this. And I get to the bathroom, and it's like, as I'm getting to the bathroom, it's like so small. You know what I mean? I can't like see anything. And I like push open the door, and it just like completely goes black. And then I just woke up on the fucking floor.
That was insane, dude.
Which I didn't even realize I puked on top of that.
Yeah.
So it was fucked up. Okay, so I woke up on the floor in a pile of my puke. High as fuck, not knowing what the fuck was happening. This dude's standing over me. He's like, dude, you alright? And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like,
Oh man, that was scary.
and then after that, I kept hearing like a bunch of voices in my head that weren't fucking there and shit, you know? Like I was laying in bed and shit.
Yeah.
And then the second time I did shrooms by myself, and they wouldn't work, so I kept eating handfuls of shrooms
That's the worst, dude.
for like 2 hours.
You get it in waves when you do that, man.
I didn't even get in waves. It was like it hit me like a fucking brick wall, and it was just for like 7 hours straight, dude.
Damn.
And it was bad the entire time. And have not touched psychedelics since then. So
Yeah, you're just one of those people, man, that you're very sensitive to the psychedelics, I guess.
I'm just like sensitive to my feelings in general, and it's I already have a hard enough time dealing with my emotions.
Yeah.
As is, I just think that psychedelics is too overwhelming for me.
So yeah, mom says she fainted from heat exhaustion, or she has fainted from heat exhaustion. I have too, and I got a funny story for that too. And
I don't
can
know
relate.
if I have, but I've definitely been close to fainting from heat exhaustion, which is one of the scariest feelings, honestly.
That's a shitty feeling, dude. You're miserably hot too.
You're miserably hot. It just feels like you're gonna die when you feel like you're gonna faint when it's hot.
Yeah.
It's like your body is telling you like, hey, you're gonna die right now. You're probably not gonna die.
You need shade. You need to cool down.
You need water, like cold ass water.
Roland says he likes mushrooms. Never had a bad trip, but definitely intense, huh? You're lucky. You're one of the lucky few, man. The only time you freaked out was watching Pee Wee Herman, huh? And realizing everyone in that show was high on cocaine and it freaked you out. That's funny, dude. Yeah, I mean, again, I think you're one of the few people that have had nothing but good trips, at least out of people that have taken psychedelics many times.
Well, was it Pee Wee Herman? Was that at that Halloween show we went to? I'm not going to name names of people that were there, but was it at that Halloween show? You know which one I'm talking about? Weren't you there?
DSTS show?
Well, you already did it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
we're not name dropping anybody. It's a band. They'd be happy to promote.
Happy to promote shrooms. Okay, yeah, because I remember
That was a cool show.
it was one of our friends' birthdays, and he did shrooms, and they were watching Pee Wee Herman at the end of the night. I remember that.
I don't remember that. That's crazy.
You had left already.
Oh, I did disappear. Something happened. I did disappear.
I don't remember you left. Me and Roland stayed the night.
Nice.
I don't even remember Roland doing shrooms.
Yeah.
I know I didn't, but I already had my 2 bad trips by that point. I wasn't.
I know it was a costume party and it was fun. I actually have a video of that, dude. I'll have to show you one time, Roland.
Yeah, the video of the bands in the garage.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
I got a video of that.
Dude, you know what's crazy is that was 10 years ago, I think.
I feel like it was longer than that, but it's crazy.
I was
10
18.
years, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 2010.
Right on. Nice. Yeah, I'll show you when I have to dig it up, but I got a little archive of.
I'll have to show you that when he comes over here for his podcast.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. First of all, from my perspective, let's talk about your experience. Yeah, again, Danny was like, I was having a good trip. Danny was like, yeah, man, I'm about to puke, and I was like, yeah, go puke, dude. The bathroom's right there. And I didn't really see him walk all the way, but I heard a thud. of some sort. Look over and I see his feet hanging out in the hallway out of the doorway. I was like, what the fuck? Walk over there and he's literally, you know, when you fall down, but it's not a fall down one way or the other, it's a collapse fall down. That's what you did.
Oh, okay.
So you collapsed just downward, just, you know, on yourself, and you puked a little bit on yourself on the floor.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
And then I remember just helping you to the toilet. You finished. And I was like, yeah, dude, go lay down here. And you laid in the bed forever. And that's when you're talking about you're having all these thoughts and shit. And you're just sitting there in a dark room.
Yeah.
And I remember just checking on you, like, you all right?
Yeah, I remember I kept calling too. I was hearing like, it was like the voice of like...
You kept calling to me? That sounds bad. I kept calling. You never answered.
You did though. You did. He came. He's like,
okay.
I was like, Ben. And you're like,
oh yeah.
You're like, what's up, bro? And I'm like, freaking out. You're like, you're all right, man. But I kept hearing like this voice that sounded like Cortana from Halo. Like, or like, you watch, is it Resident Evil where they have like the speakers, you know what I mean? It has like that woman's voice coming through the speakers.
Yeah.
It was kind of like one of those type of voices that I was just hearing.
That's crazy,
weird voices in my head just saying, I don't even remember what the fuck. They were just kind of eerie sounding, you know what I mean? It wasn't a fun experience.
Gotta love my reaction where all I was focused on was trying to keep you calm too. And anytime someone's in that situation, I'm like, you're fine, dude. Just don't overthink it. You're fine. Even if you're like deathly close to dying, you know, it's like, you're fine, dude. Just relax. Probably not the best approach, but maybe the best approach. I don't know. It seemed to work out. I think the alternative is probably worse, you know. Don't want to panic you.
I don't know. I
had a similar experience. I'll start with my only bad trip. I've fried many times. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, I've fried on acid. I've fried on mushrooms. I was a big psychedelic fan. And most times I had good trips. But I did have one bad trip. And that was with my best friend. These crazy ass mushrooms that were being built up before I even took them. He was telling me about that they were synthetically grown in rice paddies. And so, you know, at that time I'm used to eating, I've eaten quarter ounces before to fry, and like it took a good amount to actually get a good trip for me. Mm-hmm. And so he told me that he, you know, ate a cap that's about 3 inches tall with the stem was about 3 inches tall and the cap being about, you know, the size of a quarter. And that's all it took, and he's frying. I'm like, yeah, right, dude. And so that's all I took, right? Next thing you know, we're watching Napoleon Dynamite, and the background on one of those scenes, the pictures just starts doing this crazy shifting. Same thing, similar to you. My vision kind of went black. I passed out. I remember waking up, and my friend was holding my face. And as soon as I opened my eyes, he was just like, "Holy shit! Don't ever do that again." And I was like, "What happened?" And like, well, actually, I don't even think I was asking that at that time. I was just confused. But I did ask these questions when I came to later on. Same thing happened to you. I went into the room in the dark, and this was about a 12-hour long trip, I swear to God. And I didn't lay in the bed the whole time, but probably laid in the bed for about 8 to 10 hours. And the first 4 hours, maybe longer, I was just laying in there listening to my friends talking to me in the living room. There was a girl there present too, and she was panicking. She was like, "Oh my God, what if he dies?" And I'm hearing this. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm just listening to this as I'm having a bad trip. I'm like, holy shit, what if I do die? And like, I'm just, and to make matters worse, I can't explain this to you, but it was as though I was going to be mentally disabled the rest of my life. This was the most terrifying moment most terrifying moments in my life. Let's put it that way. What I mean by that is I could not keep a train of thought. I was trying to think about one thing, and I would get derailed off of what I was thinking about and could not bring back what I was thinking about. I could not think of one thing.
Yeah, you couldn't focus your mind.
I couldn't focus my attention on one thing. It felt like I was straight up mentally disabled, and I was praying to God. I was like, God, you know, please don't let me be, you know, mentally disabled the rest of my life. I'll never do this again if I come out of it. Of course I did fry after that a little bit. But I was terrified, man. I finally came to, and I asked my friend about what happened, and apparently I passed out and had like a what you would call a seizure, but not like a shaking seizure. Where he said I just kind of stiffened up like a ironing board, stuck my feet straight out, and just sat there real tight. And I was like, that's fucking crazy, man. Yeah, he's describing this to me. I was like, that's wild, dude.
That's strange.
But that was my only bad trip, man. I've had crazy good trips frying on acid. I've had beautiful moments where this one time I was frying with a good friend of mine. His name's Cliff Bigsby. He's actually dead now. And so this is actually a beautiful moment I had with him. But we were frying all night, all the way into the morning. There was snow on the ground, and we were out there in the snow watching the sunrise, in the morning.
Oh, Jesus.
And the sun was rising over this hill in Cowiche, over the snow, and all I can describe it as was these red rings, because the sun looked red, and it was just these red rings that were kind of coming at us. And I'll never forget it. We're both standing there in the snow making all these like euphoric sounds, like just like it was that intense, dude. It was that intense.
That's hilarious.
It was.
I could see
if
that.
you could if you could just be a insect out there watching us, it would be hilarious. But it was that intense, man. We were just watching that. Another intense moment I've had is where I was frying at night, and we were all burning. God, there were so many crazy moments in this one night, but just the two main ones, right? We're all burning these bins, apple bins. And this is crazy, actually. This is a good topic. There's about 8 to 10 of us all frying. We had this huge fire going. All of a sudden, I shit you not, it's hard to explain, there was this one individual flame that came out of the middle of this big flame.
Yeah.
And it went like 20 feet in the air. We all seen it. We all made the same type of sounds. And was like, oh my God, freaking out about it. And I always wonder, did that really happen? Or were we all just frying and seeing the same thing at once?
I find it unlikely that you're all seeing the same thing at once if it wasn't real.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it was the wildest thing though, man. Like you'll never see anything like that in real life. It was literally, a 6-inch flame that went out of a 3-foot radius bonfire, 20 feet in the air, isolated.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like something's unbelievable, but it happened to all of us. So later on that night, I was sitting on the hood of my car looking at the clouds, and I could seriously make the clouds whatever image I wanted.
I remember you telling me about that before.
Yeah. It was. I remember. The reason I told you about it is because it's so vivid for me. Like I was making images, like skulls and creepy stuff that I'm into, like in the clouds, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is intense." So
yeah, that's cool.
Beautiful moments. I would say be careful though in psychedelics. I'm not encouraging or promoting psychedelics by any means. I've had my bad moment that was scary. I'm glad it.
Didn't you do salvia too?
I did salvia, and that was one of the worst things that ever happened to me. I felt like my head was spinning. I felt like I could see the room all the way around.
That's fucking weird.
And then it just stopped. And when it stopped, imagine like the vision being split in half diagonally, and it slowly just comes into focus.
That sounds so fucking weird.
It was crazy, dude. That's the only way I can remember it.
I'm pretty sure that's just not even legal anymore. I think it was legal for a little bit, and then they're like, nah. Dude.
I don't know why I got talked into fucking smoking that. That was so bad. So bad. That was scary. And then I had a headache the rest of the day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Have you done DMT?
No, but I would. I wouldn't do a lot, because again, I'm scared of the amount of things I've done to my brain already. Kind of hesitant.
I want to do DMT, but I probably won't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's scary, dude. It's a scary thought. But I do think it's one of those moments that is life-changing. You might have an epiphany during these times. You have a different... When you fry, you come out a different person.
This is very true.
Almost every time when you fry, you're going to come out changed, and you're going to have a different perspective of the world, which is what's really crazy about psychedelics.
You can have a bad experience, though, because I came out a nervous fucking wreck.
Yeah, and like I said, yeah, you can come out changed in a bad way or a good way or both, but it will impact your life tremendously.
I used to not have anxiety before that, so
Really?
Yeah. So that was kind of strange for me.
That's true.
Miss
Well,
those
now
days.
you just got to do it again to reverse it.
It's too scary, man, because it's like it could just make it worse. you
Yeah.
know? So,
No, it is scary, man. I get it. But again,
if it lasted like 40 minutes, you know what I mean? They're like, hey, man, take these shrooms the last 40 minutes. Even if I have a panic attack, it's for 40 minutes. But the fact is like 6 to 8 fucking hours, dude. If you have a bad trip, that's literally a fucking nightmare, dude.
There's a show I was watching a little bit of. It's about people talking about psychedelics. All of them are relatively famous people. Sting was on there. Sarah Silverman was on there. They're all talking about like what we're doing, talking about their experiences.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them talked about driving while frying.
So dumb.
I never did it, but the one time I had this experience, my friend Josh and I were driving his dad's truck. We were both frying acid. We didn't even realize it, but for blocks, we were driving on the wrong side of the road, oncoming traffic.
That's fucking crazy.
It just snapped on him. All of a sudden, he was like, "Holy shit!" And I didn't even notice until he said "Holy shit" and swerved. You know, we were driving for blocks like this, on the wrong side of the road.
What the fuck?
Like, what makes our brain think that the left side of the road is the proper side of the road?
You guys got fucking
This is like-
English all of a sudden.
This is like 2 a.m. in Yakima.
It's a good thing it was 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Scary. I'm telling all these horror stories of my mom's watching. Yeah, again, sorry, Mom. Oh, no, she's not on. Thank God.
Is she not anymore?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But
she dipped out. She's like, oh.
she's like, I'm good on this. So, yeah. Scary shit like that. Definitely don't fry and drive at all. Worst thing ever.
Don't do drugs and drive.
Don't do drugs and drive, yeah. Don't drink and drive. It's just idiotic and you're taking a huge risk.
I would say don't even smoke weed and drive, honestly.
I would say that too, that it's the least risk out of all of them, but again, some people it affects more than others too. So that being said, might
I'm
as well
sure it
just not
lowers
do
your
it.
reaction time, you know what I mean, still.
Oh yeah. But yeah, to answer my mom, or to address my mom about fainting from heat exhaustion, the only time that happened to me was at Ozfest. We're
That's not from heat exhaustion and Ozfest. I think maybe you told me this.
I was standing in line to go to Ozfest, and all I remember is it getting black, and I fell into someone's back, and then I like fell back into somebody, and then did what you did, just fell down.
You fell in someone's back and like, get the fuck up.
And this is a long line, and out there in the gorge, it got hot in the middle of summer.
Yeah,
It's hot, dude.
It's just like Yakima, right? It's like 105 and shit
Yep.
sometimes.
And we're just standing. There's no shade there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, dude, it's funny. I could hear people talking again. They're like, dude, your friend's drunk. Or like, I think you got smashed too early. And I hadn't done anything except smoke weed. And they're like, nah, it's just he needs water. Everybody was being real cool, though, just handing me water left and right.
Yeah.
I went and sat in the porta potty for like a straight half hour, just trying to regain and recoup myself. Just sitting there in the toilet, not using the toilet, just sitting there and like, oh my God, snapping out of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I heard my buddy Jason come to the porta potty and he's like, you all right, dude? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I just need a little more time, just recouping here.
So you like actually almost mimicked his voice there.
But yeah, long story short, I did recoup, and that was the same show I seen Lamb of God for the first time. I didn't even, that's where I got inspired to pick up the guitar, dude.
That's crazy.
I seen Lamb
You
of
didn't
God.
play guitar before you went to Ozfest the first time?
No.
That's fucking...
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
That was a life-changing show for me, dude.
Yeah.
I was actually in the process of getting a beer when I heard them on stage, and I was like, what the? And as soon as I heard it, made my way down to the
You're
pit.
like, fuck that beer.
We had pit passes. Went right into the pit, dude, and got right up on the stage. They were
Oh,
playing.
you're right up on the stage?
Yeah.
That's fucking
right in the
cool.
pit, dude.
I'm jealous, man.
That was
I mean,
my-
I have seen Lamb of God with you, but we were like in the stands, so...
Yeah, that was the best Lamb of God experience ever. It was my first experience and right up there, dude. And I just remember this overweight chick next to me just screaming, now you've got something to die for, when they're playing that song. It's the first song I ever heard by them, and they were doing that, and then the breakdown hit, and I was like, yes, this is fucking where it's at, dude. And yeah, I was really hooked on. Of course, I'm not a huge Lamb of God fan now, but Ashes of the Wake, by far, one of my favorite albums ever.
It just blows my mind that you can even say I'm not a huge Lamb of God fan.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Lamb of God material fan now. I'm not a huge fan of their material.
Their current material.
Yeah. Well, we can all agree that their material has changed from Ashes of the Wake till now.
Yeah.
No comparison.
I think up to Wrath, everything's great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wrath
had some good songs too, though.
Yeah. No, I'm saying up until the end of Wrath.
Got it. Yeah.
I liked Wrath.
I liked Wrath too.
I probably liked Wrath more than I like Sacrament. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, I think. No, I like Sacrament a lot too, but Ashes of the Wake was just undeniably.
Yeah. There's songs on Sacrament that I like more than any songs on Wrath, but as a whole album, I like Wrath better.
Nice.
I just think it's more cohesive and it has a better flow to it.
Yeah.
Ashes of the Wake, though, is one of those albums, though. It's good front to back.
Every song, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like every song on there is the best. Yeah, really good, really influential moment, and it all came from me having heat exhaustion and passing out.
I don't really like their older stuff though, but I think that might just be the recording quality.
New American Gospel. Yeah. There was only like 3 songs I liked on that one.
Yeah,
it was
probably if it was recorded better, I might have liked more of the songs. You know what I mean? But
probably, yeah.
Just like really crappy recording quality.
Yeah, they did remaster some of Mom Said You Can Die from Heat Exhaustion.
Definitely happens all the time.
I've heard of that. Yeah, again, that was scary. I felt like I was gonna die, but I made it through. So yeah, let's switch gears here. So I didn't really talk enough about. We'll talk about this another time. But basically, let's talk about this. My one of my social media mentors, Gary Vee. You've probably heard of him.
Yeah.
Dude's all over the fucking internet, motivating people. Great guy, great insight, great advice for the most part. You don't have to agree with everything he says, but for me, more times than not, there's only been one time where I really kind of disagreed with him a little bit, and I watch him a lot. So, but he was giving advice to somebody. And I can relate to this question quite a bit because I'm similar. There's a lady asking him, she's explaining how she's into a lot of things. Mm-hmm. She's doing a lot of making moves, a lot of different directions. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are encouraging her to not do that. Focus on one thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Do that. Well, Gary Vee's reply to that was, don't listen to those people, listen to yourself, because what works for you is not going to work for everybody else. Mm-hmm. And he had a good point because he was using himself as an example. That's how he produces results. He gets into multiple things and a lot of things at once.
Yeah, I agree with that, honestly, because that's kind of what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? With this changing my degree into art, and now I'm going to pursue a few different things and see what sticks. I think people should do that more. If you have multiple interests, I think you should try them kind of simultaneously and see what sticks. Yeah, especially if that's you. Mm-hmm. And you thrive in that environment, then I would also encourage that too. If you know yourself, and that's just not something you can be productive in, if you're the type of person that needs to focus on one thing at a time, then that's where your productive environment's at. So maybe you should hone in on that one thing at a time. But don't necessarily listen to people's advice saying, you should focus on one thing, because that person giving that advice is probably that type of person that needs to focus on one thing. That's not everybody, you know what I mean? So I agree. People are different, and they like to project what works for them, and so it should work for you. Yeah. Which in some cases could be true. Generally speaking, it's advice. But to assume that, hey, this is the way you should do it, I know it because I've done it, is kind of silly. Because we're all different. We all operate differently. Mentally. Yeah, there's many ways to do it, even just do the same thing anyway, too, so. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, apparently
Here, let's talk about these things. I kind of skipped over a few things since I didn't want to do my James Aspey review today. This goes on to the Black Lives Matter type thing again. We won't get too much into it, but we didn't get into it last time with Will.
Okay.
So I wanted to roll it over just so we don't put it off any longer. But just a few things. One of the ones I was going to talk to him about, one of the topics I was going to talk to him about was the fact that this lady in Seattle was doing an experiment. Me and you were talking about this months back, actually.
Were we?
About employer profiling.
Oh, right.
So what she did was she was looking up job advertisements, right? Mm-hmm. That people that were looking to hire.
Yeah.
She was black. She walked in. The employer was white. She asked the employer if the job is still available. He said no. Mm-hmm. Then she would go use a payphone and call and say, hey, is the job still available? And you say yes.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? That's fucked up.
It's so fucked up.
And so, clear indication of racial profiling within a job organization setting. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she was doing that in Seattle. I don't know if this was recently or an old experiment, but that was definitely done. And it fascinated me that I think she did it twice too. She came back into that same office like, I'm pretty sure the job's available. And he's like, no, we actually got someone to fill the position. And she walked out after the second time and made that call. Wow. And, he was like, yeah, this position's still open. So
it's fucked up.
It's horrible. That's hopefully, I'm hoping that's an old story, because that'd be really sad to think that we're still there and we still haven't graduated.
Or it's like, a rare kind of thing.
Or I hope that's a very rare case.
Because I know it happens, but just hopefully it doesn't happen that much. I know.
So that's supposed to be illegal, right?
Yeah.
Like what? How does legal charges ever get brought to a situation like that?
I don't know. I don't think they have.
I don't think so either. How do you
enforce that? You know what I mean?
That's what I'm thinking.
It's like it's illegal to commit suicide.
I feel like a person, if they got charges brought against them, they wouldn't actually get convicted. There'd be some kind of loophole where like, yeah, it's my business, I can run it the way I want, kind of like, they have the right to refuse service type shit. I don't know. I was just curious, like, how does that work?
I don't know, honestly.
The legality system's always corrupted too, so you just never know how that would play out.
The legal system has a racial bias as well anyway, so
that's an interesting thought. But I mean, well, what would you say about the people that are of color in the legal system, though?
Yeah, but there's not as many of them, so it's still...
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. But, I don't know, do you think there's definitely people that, like Judge Joe Brown, you think there's people hating on Judge Joe Brown within his sector?
Probably.
Think so? Undertones and like closet racists?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I do.
That's fucked up. I would like to have a conversation with one of these higher ups, a black individual or Hispanic or anybody that's not white, in a high status position, and get his experience with his process and journey there and what his experience is in that position. Yeah. That'd be really interesting to have that conversation.
It's interesting if you think about it. You see all these billionaires that are CEOs of companies. How many of them are not white? Can you think of one?
That's a good story. That's a good.
Because you're talking about people in power. I'm thinking of people like in the highest status positions. And I'm trying to think of how many
CEOs.
How many of them are actually of color? Even like Elon Musk is South African, but he's white. He's white South African, so even though he's an African. Yeah,
that's a good point. I don't know, man. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Of course, if you would bring some up, then I'd be like, oh yeah, but I just can't off the top of my head. So that clearly indicates the majority of them are white.
There's a few senators and like representatives that are black. Obviously Barack Obama.
That's why we had that conversation with Will. Like, how do you think the people that were racist felt about Obama being a president?
Yeah,
I bet they fucking hated it. And
I'm trying to remember that time. That was so long ago now. That was 2008.
And how do they handle their life if they have that much hate for a president that's black and they don't think that he should be in that position because of his color? Wouldn't that be a miserable way to live your life too?
It's kind of equivalent to us normal people not being a fan of Trump. Yeah, it's fucking miserable. You know?
Good point. Speaking of Trump, I don't know if you heard, but he's having his first rally campaign coming up here.
Yeah.
And ironically, or coincidentally, the date is exactly the same time that we celebrated the end of slavery.
Really?
You think that's a coincidence? You think that was calculated?
I don't know, but it might be. Is Trump that smart? You know what?
Yes. Not him, but he's got people to think for him.
I just wonder if Trump's like really good at manipulating people into thinking he's dumb when he's actually really not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, maybe he's playing like a big con, you know what I mean?
Man, that's an investment right there. That's commitment.
Yeah.
Long term. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
His ego's probably too big for that, though.
Oh my god, that is funny. You were talking about, that's funny, I should have talked about this when you were talking about your therapy dog.
Oh, what about it?
I heard there was a therapy llama in an Oregon protest. I thought that was pretty funny.
That is funny.
Just an ironic, an odd type of animal for therapy.
Yeah, I feel like that would just stress me out. You get this fucking weird animal away from me, dude.
What's your opinion on the size of the therapy animal? You think it's better to have a small or one that's twice your size? Is that intimidating?
Don't want to spit, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why. I'm like, it doesn't seem very therapeutic because the thing off that spits on you, you're like, thanks.
I thought that was interesting. It was like a therapy llama, huh?
I don't know.
I know my daughter would appreciate that. She loves llamas.
Does she?
She watches too much llama.
Big dogs are kind of cool, I guess. I like the medium big dogs.
Yeah? Like a little Australian Shepherd or something.
Yeah, those are fine. Or like huskies. Huskies are nice.
It's funny, you guys had an Australian Shepherd. I forgot about that.
Yeah, my dog that killed itself.
Yeah. You remember, what was her name? Delilah.
That's right,
Delilah. Why? I don't know why I remembered that until right now, but I definitely didn't forget.
My sister Gina named all my pets, and she named them weird ass names like Delilah. I had a cat named Henry that she named.
The human names for animals is funny to me.
But yeah, Delilah. My dog must have hated itself because it literally just wrapped itself around the tree and choked itself to death. So either that or something was chasing it.
I have a feeling that the dog didn't deliberately kill itself.
I don't know, man.
I think that dog was kind of dumb a little bit, or rambunctious, and so I could see it not thinking out the fact that it had something on its neck and it, would get hung or choked or something like that. Of course, again, to Delilah's defense, the animals aren't designed to have a fucking restraint on their throat. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, why the fuck do we even have the dog outside?
I don't know. And it must have been before a fence. Why did it need to be leashed up? Or you have a fence back there?
I had a fence.
It might have been before the fence.
I don't. Dude, we built that fence.
Yeah, but I can't remember where that fence lined up on the timeline with Delilah.
Yeah. I'm like,
that would seem silly.
I know we had a fence because I used to sneak out of the house and jump the fence. So
I remember that fence clearly.
Yeah.
But that would seem odd to tie her up with a fence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It defeats the purpose of the fence unless there's another reason I don't know about. But good question.
Yeah, it's just tied to a tree. That was very weird. Yeah, I'm kind of sketched out about animals, man. My fucking dog suffocated one way or another, and then my cat got ran over by a fucking car. Yeah,
that's the bad thing about owning animals is they have a shorter lifespan, and then they're more susceptible to dying because of things like that. So you grow attached to these things, and you experience loss at a quicker rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some people argue that that's a good thing.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of prepares you.
I mean, you can find good and bad in every situation, so sure.
To be fair, a lot of people, die while you're alive, as is. So
Yeah. And again, you can look at those situations even and find a good and bad. I mean, a lot of you might not agree with me that there's good in death, but if you try really hard, you can probably find good in it in some weird twist of a way.
yeah.
But yeah, dude, I got a couple things to talk about before we wrap it up. These things, it's been really relevant in my life, and it's a huge irritation. So one of my rants is basically people, you know what I'm talking about. These people that work for organizations that have bad attitudes. So especially on a phone call, you'll really get it. You'll understand immediately by tone of voice and the verbiage, this person does not like their day or their life, and they definitely don't like talking to you. And so I call a lot of people, a lot. I gotta call manufacturers to get material. I gotta call homeowners. And one of my pet peeves follow-up questions is, how can I help you? Or what can I help you with? I absolutely hate that term. It's always delivered in a negative tone and a condescending manner. What I mean by that is, so act like you're calling me. We'll role play here. Act like you're calling an establishment and you're real friendly.
I'm real friendly?
You're real friendly.
Okay. Ring, ring, ring.
Ring, ring, ring. Hi, hello, Precision Patio Covers and Sunroom. Oh, wait.
Hey, what are you doing? Great acting. Great acting.
You didn't sound very happy.
Well, I was confused. That was my emotion.
Okay, so in order for you to get what I'm talking about, I'm a very energetic person, and normally I'm nice. When I call another establishment, I'll say, "Hey, how you doing today?"
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
No. So what? say that to me.
How? But this is the wrong position, right?
No. You'll see what I mean here.
You're supposed to be answering it like you're a moody asshole.
Even if it'll make sense to you. It'll make sense to you. Trust me. Just ask me how I'm doing in a chippery voice, and this is how I deliver it.
In a chippery voice. All right, ring, ring.
Ring, ring, ring. Precision Patio Covers.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How can I help you?
I need...
You hear that?
Yeah, I guess.
What does that sound like to you?
Maybe you're just having a bad day.
Exactly.
What's wrong with having a bad day?
Try not to put your bad day off on people and make it apparent.
Some people are just not good at hiding their emotions. I'm pretty bad at it, you know?
Not some. A lot. I deal with this a lot, is what I'm saying. I probably dealt with it twice today.
Yeah.
And 5 times in the last week.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
And the go-to term is, what can I help you with?
Yeah.
It's so...
Maybe someone just yelled at them on the phone, you know? Maybe their boyfriend broke up with them.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's just one of my pet peeves. That's a personal thing I hate, is how can I help you? But it just keeps going.
One thing I like to do to kind of alleviate my feelings for getting annoyed with people doing shit like that is just be like, I don't know what's going on in their life. Maybe they have shit going on. They're having a bad day. Maybe they're having a bad fucking life. I don't fucking know. I try not to take it personally.
Yeah,
because they don't know me personally, you know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah, absolutely.
That's annoying, but whatever.
And so I don't take it personally. My frustration is the fact that they can't do a good job at their job that they are there to do.
You know what? You had a funny point earlier that I kind of disagree with.
What is it?
If you don't like your job, find a better job. The thing is, though, is that's just like a stepping stone anyway. But on top of that, nobody ever wants that job. So no matter who fills that job, they're going to have a shitty attitude because nobody wants that job. They might be the only job that they can find right now. You know what I mean? So they might not want to be there.
But don't take it out.
But I don't think anyone's like, you know what? My dream job is to go be a fucking call person. Nobody does that.
No, but you should also realize that this is your job. And if you don't like it, then you can choose something else. Like, you have a choice. My whole point is you have a choice.
Yeah.
You're saying you don't.
I'm saying that
it's the only job they can get.
That moment. I'm saying.
Okay. And in that moment, you can have a better attitude is all I'm saying. Like, you don't have to project your bad day. Making it very apparent that you're having a bad day is unproductive.
Maybe they don't give a fuck about the company though. Maybe their boss is an asshole. Maybe the company fucking sucks, and they just want the paycheck, and they don't give
Somebody's allowing them to act this way. Exactly. Somebody's allowing. If I seen someone behaving this way on my job site, I would address it. I don't want my company to be represented that way.
a good example is Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good example.
But you know, I
just like
have
to talk
no,
shit about Walmart.
I have no,
podcast.
I have no remorse though, like saying those type of comments. Like if you don't like your job, get a new one. Yeah, I say the same thing with veganism. Even it happened one time. Someone was stating that some people can't afford eating that way, and like if that's your excuse, then make more money. Like I have quick solutions for this. Mm-hmm. It might take time to do the solution, but it's a quick solution goal. There's a solution here. You got to work at it though. Mm-hmm. Like if that's your excuse, then I'm gonna play your excuse. And again, I don't know what their excuse is. They're acting that way, but if they did, I would have another quick response to that. Like there's a solution.
Okay, so what your solution is? Get a better job. What if they're a better job? They're going to college for on the side. They're exhausted. They're going to this job. They don't give a fuck about this college job, so they're just like, fuck it, I don't care. So
there's no job that they'll be better, that they'll have a better attitude at, is what you're saying?
I don't really have good attitudes at my shitty jobs, honestly, because I fucking hate them, dude.
Fair enough. And
I mean,
if that's the case, then you should still be aware that you're working for another company and you're representing this company. So more than likely, they don't want you to act that way.
Yeah.
Somebody's allowing it. You know what I mean? No one's catching it, or something's happening here.
Yeah. I try not to be assholes to customers for no fucking reason. But also, I'm sometimes...
So why?
What do you mean?
Why, though?
Why what?
Why do you choose not to be asshole to customers, and then some people
I
are
choose
calling?
to try not to be an asshole to customers.
Okay.
Sometimes...
That's more than what I'm getting.
I'm saying sometimes my tone leaks through because sometimes I'm too upset to mask all my emotion. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I can't just be like, my boss can't come up to me and be like, you're a fucking shitty worker. And then go out and deliver a pizza and be like, hey, how you doing? I'm going to be like, hey, how's it going? Like fucking feel defeated. You know what I mean? It's hard to just pull this chipper out of my ass,
That's a bad way to address problems, like, I don't address my problems to employees that way. I don't say, hey, I don't come in anger and negativity, like, there's a much better way to approach this, is my approach. Like, hey, dude, I'm noticing this, let's practice doing this a little bit. I think it's going to benefit not only the company, it's going to benefit your life. Like, I have ways of making things sound more delightful, and it's truth.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of the managers at these shitty jobs are also not getting paid that much. They kind of hate their fucking jobs, and they just offload their misery onto the fucking lower employees a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's another form of it. Exactly. I don't agree with that either. Yeah. This is a culture you're working in. You should be building each other up. You know what I mean? You're a team.
Yeah, Walmart. Culture of misery, honestly. It's fucking awful.
Work culture is huge.
When I started working at Walmart, I was chipper. I was in a good mood. I was happy to have a job. You know what I mean? Like, this is dope. This is cool. But then everyone having a negative energy all the fucking time, it wears you down, man.
Absolutely, dude.
You do that for 6 months. Within 6, I guarantee. And unless you're like invincible, dude, you work at Walmart for 6 months, you're gonna hate your fucking life, dude.
And that, to a small sense, I guess that's the vibe I'm getting. When I call and I'm in a good mood, someone's like, hello, such and such and such. I don't want to name drop these manufacturers, but and I'm like, hey, how's it going? I'm good. How's it going? What do you need?
I personally even if I'm having a bad day, if a customer's like nice to me, it kind of will improve my day. It should turn shit around for me. You know what I mean? If I'm having a bad day, like my boss was an asshole or another customer was an asshole, and a customer comes up and they're like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? Like throwing me off guard because I'm just expecting shitty behavior from everyone.
And I'm used to the negativity. It's just I wish people would practice more. I'm frustrated that nobody's saying anything. A lot of this is going on because nothing's being said.
Yeah, I think it's less than like a work culture problem as it is an American culture problem.
I think so. Yeah, you're right.
America's a very miserable place.
It's easier to find negativity than it is positivity.
People are very negative around in this country, and people they don't like to talk about their feelings. They like to hide their feelings, and they like to lie about their feelings.
Absolutely.
Here's a great example. In other countries, people don't say, hey, how's it going? Unless they actually genuinely want to know how it's going. in America, it's just a formality. Say, how's it going? It's going good. Even if it's going terrible, you just say, yeah, not bad. It's good. You know, whatever. People just lie all the time because it's just like saying, hey, hello. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that's crazy because
so people just hide
like
their emotions all the time, and it just builds up, and people are miserable, walking around miserable, and they don't. It's like, you know, it's like these people need therapy. You know what I mean? They need to go talk to someone to offload their feelings. Is what it is, really.
Dude, absolutely. Before I forget that, Before I forget that topic, I noticed a lot of negativity in because I post a lot of business posts, and when I do a video feed with me in it, the most recent one I did, I got 3 negative comments on it.
Really?
I was like, you guys. Yeah, one of them was like, this guy was like, get something to eat, you look sucked up. And then I looked at his profile and dude's overweight. I'm like, okay, he's projecting. You know what I mean? I don't respond to that. I'm just like, I do respond to that, but not with negativity. I'm just like, dude, what is up with this projecting negativity? You know, your comment there's nothing intriguing about it. Please stop doing that. You know, thank you. And then there was another guy that was mocking me like, oh yeah, oh my God, built-in gutter systems? Oh wow, who thought of that? And he's like, dork at the bottom. These people are just projecting their negativity, and so you know, I don't really post anything on the business, but I did go to his personal message. I was like, hey dude, keep your negative comments off my page, like continue to live your paycheck to paycheck life until you die. And I said something else.
I think you should stop doing that.
Oh, what, live posts?
No, I think you should stop responding to people.
I will.
At all, because I think
that's what they want.
Exactly, they want you to respond, no matter, even if you turn it into a lighthearted, you know, I mean, like you reframe it and try to be positive about it, or try to reframe what they're doing.
Well, on the site, there's an obligation for a business to reply to that. There's actually science behind that.
I don't think so. I don't think if you have like Domino's and there's like 3 people that are like, fuck Domino's, I don't think Domino's is headquarters is going like, oh, don't say mean things about us. That's not true. You know what I mean? I think that shows insecurity.
More for local businesses, I think.
I guess, man. I don't know. I think it shows insecurity.
I mean, they got Domino's has the numbers. They don't care, dude. Like, I have a local impact here.
Yeah.
Domino's CEO is not doing an Instagram post.
Yeah, but I think if they're trying to, like, if they're not talking shit about your business, they're just talking shit about your character because they're fucking insecure.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to respond to that. I think it shows, you know, you're like, I'm beyond that if you don't respond to that. You know.
Well, one of them I just banned. And when you ban them, their comments deleted. So it's like, oh, I just started doing that. But it goes into the topic we're talking about. Negativity reverberates. If you're splashing negativity on my site, it's hard to ignore. People are like, why is there? Maybe I should be negative. It's weird type of thinking, herd mentality.
Exactly.
Really. And so I think I'll just ban people from now on when they do that shit. But yeah, it's just an example of how negativity is more prominent though, and it's much easier to find than positivity. I had, you know, that was probably 30%. I probably had 70% of positive remarks, like great job, this is fantastic, that type of stuff. Yeah. So, you know, I got great reviews, so it speaks for itself. It's just them dudes out there that are really miserable projecting. But
miserable people want other people to be miserable with them.
And back to what you were talking about people not being honest with themselves, I think there's a lot of substance in that. Matter of fact, I think I've learned this when pitching. There's 2 types of people I run into. Because I'm a very upfront pitcher. I lay it out and I ask you to make a decision, and I'm very forthcoming. 2 types of people I run into are the ones that appreciate that a lot and they admire it and they want to do business with me immediately, or they want to just keep conversating with me and interacting with me. The other type is the people that are completely turned off by it. And my suspicion is the people that are completely turned off by it is that those people are fake. And what I mean by that is fake people want to be approached fake too. That's just completely suspicion, but I think there's some substance there. What I mean by that is those people that are not completely honest in a business setting that I'm talking about, they would rather have a guy come out there and do the dog and pony show and be a little fake and a little more formal, not so straightforward, not so to the point, not so clear cut and clear. Because in all honesty, everybody probably wants the clear cut shit. They don't want to have to use that huge amount of cerebral mass to figure out, is this guy lying? Is this guy not? Is this guy, what is going on here? You know what I mean? So that's my theory, though. The suspicion that fake people who are not honest want more fake people to approach. They want to talk to people who are also fake. Does that make any sense to you? And do you agree or disagree, or you know what I'm even saying by that?
I do know what you're saying. I don't know if that's the best way to word it, but I don't know another wording as well. I think
it's hard to explain, but
I think you have a point though.
And I don't know why that is. Well, it kind of keeps that smoke and mirrors for themselves. Maybe it doesn't force them to be honest. Maybe
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
it's a fascinating topic, though.
Yeah. But we are at the 2 hour mark right now. So we started right on time.
Okay. Well, we'll roll over some of these conversations next Saturday. Like I said, we're going to talk about a little bit of Amine. I'm going to hopefully review James Aspie's speech he did. There's a lot of thought-provoking shit in there I really want to talk about. We're going to have some hard conversations.
Yeah. Follow us on social media.
Social media, Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Find us, follow us, subscribe to us, and hopefully pretty soon we're gonna have some merch out. We got Danny working on the drawing that I did digitally, and yeah, hopefully we get some shirts available for you guys or something like that. So
oh yeah.
All right, we'll chat with you guys on Saturday. Keep it viral.
Keep it contagious.